ever wondered what secrets lie beneath our feet? Could ancient civilizations have been more advanced than we thought? What if everything we know about human history is wrong? Number 10. The Terracotta Army. Did you know that an entire clay army was buried for over 2,000 years? In 1974, farmers digging a well in Xi'an, China, stumbled upon one of the most astonishing archaeological discoveries of all time. They had no idea that their shovels would unearth the edge of a vast underground army. The Terracotta Army, as it came to be known, is a collection of thousands of life-sized clay soldiers, each with unique facial features arranged in battle formation. These warriors were created to guard Emperor Qin Shi Huang in the afterlife. The first emperor of unified China apparently wanted to rule beyond death with the same military might he commanded in life. What makes this discovery truly mind-boggling is the scale and detail. Archaeologists have uncovered more than 8,000 soldiers, 130 chariots, 670 horses, and numerous weapons. Each statue was originally painted in bright colors, though most of the paint has faded over the millennia. The weapons found with the warriors were still sharp when discovered, thanks to an advanced chrome plating technology that wasn't reinvented in the West until the 20th century. Even more shocking, this massive army might only be the beginning. Historical records suggest that Emperor Qin's actual tomb remains unopened, allegedly containing rivers of mercury and a ceiling mapped with stars and constellations. Ground samples near the tomb show unusually high levels of mercury, lending credence to these accounts. Scientists hesitate to excavate the emperor's mausoleum, fearing damage to what may lie inside and possible toxic mercury exposure. The accidental discovery by those farmers changed our understanding of ancient Chinese civilization, revealing an unprecedented feat of engineering and artistic achievement that continues to amaze visitors and researchers alike. Number 9. Göbekli Tepe. What if the history of human civilization is thousands of years older than we thought? In 1994, on a remote hilltop in southeastern Turkey, archaeologists discovered something that would force us to rewrite history books. Göbekli Tepe is a series of massive stone pillars arranged in rings, many decorated with intricate carvings of animals and abstract symbols. The shocking part: these structures date back to around 9,500 BC, predating Stonehenge by about 7,000 years and the Egyptian pyramids by 7,500 years. This discovery turned archaeological convention on its head. The site was built before the development of agriculture, writing, metal tools, or even pottery. Historians had long believed that humans needed to develop farming and establish permanent settlements before they could organize the labor needed for massive construction projects. Göbekli Tepe suggests the opposite might be true, that complex religious or social gatherings may have actually spurred the development of agriculture and permanent settlements. The stone pillars weigh up to 20 tons each and stand up to 20 feet tall. How did hunter-gatherers, using only stone tools and sheer human strength, quarry, transport, and erect these enormous stones? Even more perplexing. After using the site for nearly 1,500 years, the builders deliberately buried the entire complex for reasons we may never understand. Only about 5% of Göbekli Tepe has been excavated so far. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed at least 16 more rings of pillars waiting to be unearthed. What other secrets might this ancient site hold? The discovery forces us to reconsider the capabilities of our early ancestors and pushes back the timeline of complex human organization by thousands of years. Number 8. The Antikythera Mechanism. Can a 2,000-year-old object be so advanced that it makes us question everything we know about ancient technology? In 1901, divers exploring a shipwreck off the coast of the Greek island Antikythera found something that would perplex scientists for decades. At first glance, it looked like a corroded lump of metal and wood, but as researchers began to clean and examine it, an incredible complexity emerged. The Antikythera Mechanism, as it came to be called, contained at least 30 precisely engineered bronze gears housed in a wooden box about the size of a shoebox. Modern imaging techniques have revealed that this device was nothing less than an ancient analog computer, capable of tracking the movements of the sun, moon, and planets, predicting eclipses, and even showing the 4-year cycle of the Olympic Games. It could model the moon's irregular orbit with remarkable precision, using a mathematical concept called epicyclic gearing. The most shocking aspect of the mechanism isn't just that it existed, but that nothing else like it appears in the archaeological record for another 1,400 years. The craftsmanship and mathematical knowledge required to create such a device suggest an understanding of astronomy and engineering far beyond what historians believed possible for the ancient world, around 100 to 150 BC. Who created this amazing machine? What happened to the knowledge needed to build it? The shipwreck contained luxury goods likely being transported from Rhodes or Asia Minor to Rome. Some experts believe the mechanism may have been designed by the ancient Greek astronomer Hipparchus, or from a workshop following his theories. The Antikythera Mechanism stands as a humbling reminder that technological progress isn't always linear. Knowledge can be lost as easily as it's gained. This single device has forced historians to reconsider their assumptions about ancient scientific knowledge and technological capability. Number 7. The Dead Sea Scrolls. What if the oldest biblical texts in existence had remained hidden in desert caves for nearly 2,000 years? In 1947, a young Bedouin shepherd tossed a stone into a cave near the Dead Sea and heard the unexpected sound of pottery breaking. His curiosity led to one of the most significant archaeological discoveries of the 20th century. Inside the cave, the shepherd found clay jars containing ancient scrolls wrapped in linen. This initial discovery triggered a decade-long search that ultimately yielded over 900 manuscripts from 11 different caves. These became known as the Dead Sea Scrolls. The texts, dating from the 3rd century BCE to the 1st century CE, include the oldest known biblical manuscripts, predating other surviving copies by almost 1,000 years. Written primarily in Hebrew, with some in Aramaic and Greek, they contain parts of every Old Testament book except Esther, plus many non-biblical religious texts. What makes this discovery truly extraordinary is how it has transformed our understanding of Judaism and early Christianity. Before the scrolls, scholars had to rely on much later copies of biblical texts. The scrolls revealed both remarkable consistency in some texts across millennia and intriguing variations in others, providing a window into the evolution of these foundational religious documents. Most scholars believe the scrolls belong to an ancient Jewish sect called the Essenes, who lived in the nearby settlement of Qumran. The community appears to have hidden their sacred library in caves as Roman forces advanced during the First Jewish Revolt around 68 CE. The scrolls were preserved by the extremely dry climate of the Dead Sea region. Many were written on parchment, though some were on papyrus, and one crucial text, the Copper Scroll, was etched on thin sheets of copper. This unusual metal document contains what appears to be a treasure map, listing 64 locations where gold, silver, and sacred objects were hidden. Controversy has surrounded the scrolls since their discovery. Access to them was initially restricted to a small team of scholars, leading to accusations of academic gatekeeping. Additionally, some religious groups have been concerned about how the variations in the texts might challenge traditional interpretations of Scripture. The Dead Sea Scrolls serve as a physical link to a pivotal time in religious history, when Judaism was evolving and Christianity was in its infancy. They remain among the most studied ancient manuscripts in the world. Number 6. Pompeii and Herculaneum. How would it feel to witness an entire Roman city frozen in time? In 79 CE, Mount Vesuvius erupted with apocalyptic force, burying the nearby Roman towns of Pompeii and Herculaneum under ash, pumice, and pyroclastic flows. For nearly 1,700 years, these cities remained lost, with their tragic final moments preserved in eerie detail. Although Pompeii's location was never completely forgotten, serious excavation didn't begin until the 18th century. What archaeologists found was unprecedented: an entire Roman city preserved at the moment of destruction. Unlike most archaeological sites, which reveal only fragmentary remains accumulated over centuries, Pompeii offers a single moment in time, a snapshot of daily Roman life. The most haunting aspect of Pompeii is undoubtedly the body casts. As victims were buried in ash, their bodies decomposed, leaving hollow spaces in the hardened ash. In the 1860s, archaeologist Giuseppe Fiorelli realized he could pour plaster into these voids to recreate the forms of the deceased in their final moments. The results are chillingly intimate. People huddled together, covering their mouths or reaching out in terror. Herculaneum, Pompeii's wealthier neighbor, was preserved even better due to different volcanic conditions. The intense heat of pyroclastic flows carbonized organic materials rather than burning them. This preserved wooden furniture, food, clothing, and even scrolls of papyrus in a library, the only surviving library from the ancient world. These cities revealed aspects of Roman life that would never have been recorded in official histories. Colorful graffiti covers walls, including political slogans, insults, declarations of love, and explicit content that would make modern visitors blush. Archaeologists found fast food counters, thermopolia, electoral campaign messages, and bakeries with bread still in the ovens. Recent excavations continue to yield new insights. In 2018, archaeologists discovered the House of the Enchanted Garden with stunning frescoes intact. In 2020, a remarkably preserved thermopolium snack bar was unearthed with food residues still in containers. And in 2021, a ceremonial chariot was found in a villa just outside the city. Modern technology has transformed the study of these sites. An analysis. Ground-penetrating radar and 3D scanning now reveal information inaccessible to earlier generations of archaeologists. CT scans of the plaster casts have shown that many victims had excellent teeth but suffered from joint problems, suggesting a diet high in carbohydrates and physically demanding lives. The cities of Vesuvius remind us of both the fragility of human life and the remarkable continuity of human experience across millennia. Visitors today can't help but feel connected to these ancient Romans, seeing their homes, shops, theaters, and baths, and recognizing how similar their daily lives were to our own. Number 5. The Rosetta Stone. Can a single slab of stone unlock the secrets of an entire lost language? In 1799, during Napoleon's Egyptian expedition, a French soldier named Pierre-François Bouchard was helping to rebuild an old fort near the town of Rashid, Rosetta, when he spotted an unusual black stone embedded in an old wall. This unassuming slab, measuring about 3 feet 9 inches tall and 2 feet 4 inches wide, would become the key to deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphics, a writing system that had remained indecipherable for 1,400 years. What made the Rosetta Stone so extraordinary was that it contained the same text in 3 different scripts: hieroglyphics at the top, Demotic, a later form of Egyptian script, in the middle, and Ancient Greek at the bottom. Since scholars could still read Ancient Greek, they finally had a way to unlock the meaning of hieroglyphics. The The stone itself contains a decree issued in 196 BC on behalf of King Ptolemy V. The decree affirms the royal cult of the young king and lists his generous deeds for the temples and people of Egypt. While the content is fairly mundane, its trilingual nature made it invaluable. Deciphering the stone wasn't easy. After the British defeated Napoleon in Egypt, they claimed the stone as spoils of war, where it remains in the British Museum to this day, despite ongoing Egyptian requests for its return. It took scholars more than 20 years to fully crack the code. The breakthrough came from a young French linguist named Jean-François Champollion. Unlike previous scholars, Champollion understood Coptic, a later form of Egyptian language, and realized that hieroglyphics represented both sounds and ideas. In 1822, he famously exclaimed, "Je tiens l'affaire, I've got it," before collapsing from exhaustion after realizing how the system worked. By deciphering hieroglyphics, the Rosetta Stone opened up an entire civilization to modern understanding. Suddenly, scholars could read the countless inscriptions on temples, tombs, and monuments throughout Egypt, unveiling 3,000 years of literature, history, science, and religion that had been silent for more than a millennium. The stone represents one of archaeology's most powerful reminders that knowledge isn't permanently lost. Sometimes it's just waiting for the right key. Today, the term Rosetta Stone has entered our language as a metaphor for any crucial key that provides a pathway to understanding. Number 4. The cave paintings of Lascaux and Chauvet. Could prehistoric humans create art so beautiful it would humble modern masters? In 1940, 4 teenage boys chasing their dog through the woods near Montignac, France, watched as the animal disappeared down a hole. Following their pet, they discovered something that would change our understanding of prehistoric humans forever. The chamber they entered contained nearly 6,000 figures painted and engraved on the walls: horses, bulls, deer, and mysterious symbols, some in vibrant colors, others delicately etched. The Cave of Lascaux, as it came to be known, contained some of the most sophisticated and beautiful prehistoric art ever discovered, dating back approximately 17,000 years. But Lascaux wasn't alone. In 1994, 3 spelunkers discovered another cave near Vallon-Pont-d'Arc in southern France. The Chauvet cave contained even older artwork, dating to around 32,000 years ago, and just as sophisticated, with hundreds of animal paintings including lions, panthers, bears, owls, and rhinos. What makes these discoveries so shocking is the extraordinary artistic sophistication. The paintings demonstrate advanced techniques, including perspective, shading, and deliberate use of the natural contours of the cave walls to create 3-dimensional effects. The artists used a variety of pigments to create black, red, yellow, and brown, and in some cases appear to have built scaffolding to reach high areas of the caves. The Chauvet paintings, being nearly twice as old as those at Lascaux, yet equally skillful, demolished the notion that art developed gradually from primitive to sophisticated forms. These Ice Age artists were fully modern in their capabilities, despite living millennia before agriculture or permanent settlements. The caves offer rare glimpses into the minds of our distant ancestors. Some paintings appear to incorporate animation, multiple legs drawn on animals to suggest movement when viewed by flickering firelight. Others show handprints or abstract symbols whose meanings remain mysterious. In Lascaux, one haunting image shows what appears to be a human figure with a bird's head, perhaps representing a shaman. Tragically, human breath has proven dangerous to these ancient treasures. The carbon dioxide, heat, and humidity from thousands of visitors caused fungal outbreaks that threatened the paintings at Lascaux, forcing authorities to close the original cave to the public. Today, visitors can see only perfect replicas, Lascaux II, and IV, while scientists work to preserve the originals. These caves force us to reconsider what we know about prehistoric humans. Far from being primitive brutes focused solely on survival, they created art, requiring planning, skill, and aesthetic sensibility. The paintings reveal cultures with rich symbolic lives and creative expression dating back to times when humans shared Europe with Neanderthals and faced the challenges of the last ice age. Number 3. The Tomb of Tutankhamun. Would you believe that one of history's most famous archaeological discoveries almost never happened? In 1922, British archaeologist Howard Carter was facing the end of his career in Egypt. After years of fruitless searching for undiscovered royal tombs in the Valley of the Kings, his wealthy patron, Lord Carnarvon, had decided to cut funding after one final season. With just days remaining in that final season, Carter's team uncovered a stone step cut into the valley floor. Further excavation revealed a staircase leading to a sealed door bearing the royal seal of Tutankhamun, a relatively minor pharaoh who died young around 1323 BC. When Carter finally peered into the antechamber on November 26, 1922, Lord Carnarvon anxiously asked, "Can you see anything?" Carter's famous reply, "Yes, wonderful things." What made this discovery so extraordinary wasn't just the mountain of treasures, over 5,000 artifacts, including the famous gold death mask, but the fact that the tomb had remained largely untouched by tomb robbers who had pillaged virtually every other royal burial in the valley. The tomb wasn't completely intact. Evidence showed it had been entered at least twice in antiquity, but the robbers had taken only smaller precious items, leaving behind the massive golden shrines, chariots, furniture, weapons, food, wine, and clothing. The 4 nested shrines alone contained the solid gold coffin weighing 242 pounds, inside which lay Tutankhamun's mummy, adorned with the iconic gold mask. Beyond the dazzling treasures, the tomb provided unprecedented insights into ancient Egyptian royal burial practices, religious beliefs, and daily life. The boy king's possessions included board, games, boomerangs, underwear, musical instruments, and even a folding camp bed. One chest contained the mummified remains of his stillborn daughters. The discovery captivated the world's imagination, creating an Egyptomania that influenced fashion, furniture, design, architecture, and pop culture throughout the 1920s and beyond. When the Egyptian Museum in Cairo displayed some of the treasures in the 1960s, they attracted more visitors than the 1964 World's Fair. The excavation took nearly a decade to complete, with each item meticulously catalogued and preserved, a process that transformed archaeological practices. Tragically, many who worked on the tomb reported strange illnesses, giving rise to legends about the curse of the pharaoh. Lord Carnarvon himself died from an infected mosquito bite shortly after the tomb was opened, fueling supernatural speculation, though most who worked on the excavation lived long, healthy lives. Tutankhamun's treasures continue to draw massive crowds whenever they travel the world on exhibition. Meanwhile, the boy pharaoh's mummy remains in his original tomb in the Valley of the Kings, his mortuary mask becoming one of the most recognizable images from the ancient world. Number 2. The Nazca Lines. How could ancient people create enormous artworks meant to be seen from the sky thousands of years before human flight? In the bone-dry plateau of southern Peru stretch hundreds of geometric shapes, straight lines running for miles, and giant animal figures etched into the desert floor. Some are so large they can only be recognized from airplane or drone. The Nazca Lines, as they're known, were created by the Nazca culture between 500 BC and 500 CE. These geoglyphs include a 310-foot-long hummingbird, a 440-foot spider, a monkey with a spiral tail, and hundreds of geometric shapes covering nearly 200 square miles of desert. What makes these lines truly baffling is their massive scale combined with their precision. The hummingbird's beak points exactly to the spot on the horizon where the sun rises during the winter solstice. Many lines form perfect geometric shapes despite their enormous size. How could people without drone technology or even tall structures create such precisely aligned images meant to be viewed from above? The answer lies partly in the unique environment. The Nazca Desert is one of the driest places on Earth, receiving less than an inch of rain per year. The ground consists of reddish-brown, iron, oxide-coated pebbles. By removing the top layer, the ancient artists exposed the lighter-colored soil beneath, creating lines that have remained visible for over 1,500 years, thanks to the extremely stable climate. But why create them at all? Archaeologist Maria Rakish, who devoted her life to studying the lines, believed they formed a giant astronomical calendar. Others suggest they marked underground water sources in the desert, created pathways for ancient ceremonies, or represented constellations. Some even propose the lines were landing strips for alien spacecraft, though no credible archaeologist supports this theory. Recent research suggests the lines may have been created for religious processions, with different family groups responsible for maintaining different figures. Satellite imagery has revealed dozens of previously unknown geoglyphs, and archaeologists continue to debate their purpose. The Nazca lines were designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1994, but they face threats from climate change, increased rainfall, and human development. In 2014, Greenpeace activists damaged the lines during a publicity stunt, highlighting the site's vulnerability. These mysterious desert drawings remind us that ancient civilizations were capable of extraordinary planning, coordination, and engineering, often for purposes modern people struggle to comprehend. Number 1. The Moai of Easter Island. What drove an ancient civilization to carve hundreds of massive stone heads that would later symbolize environmental collapse? Easter Island, one of the most remote inhabited places on Earth, over 2,000 miles from the nearest continent, holds one of archaeology's most compelling mysteries. When European explorers first reached this isolated Pacific island on Easter Sunday 1722, they were astonished to find nearly 900 monumental stone statues, some weighing up to 86 tons and standing 33 feet tall. Even more puzzling, the island was sparsely populated with people living in relative poverty, apparently lacking the resources or technology to create such massive monuments. The statues, known as moai, were carved from volcanic tuff between the 13th and 16th centuries by the Rapa Nui people. Each moai has an oversized head, often topped with a red stone hat or topknot, weighing up to 13 tons. Most were placed on stone platforms called aho along the coastline, with their backs to the ocean watching over the island's inhabitants. For years, a popular narrative suggested Easter Island represented a cautionary environmental tale. According to this theory, the islanders depleted their resources, carving and transporting these massive statues, cutting down all the trees to move the moai using wooden rollers or sleds. This deforestation supposedly led to soil erosion, crop failures, starvation, and ultimately a collapse of their civilization. Recent archaeological evidence has complicated this story. While the island was indeed deforested, some research suggests that Polynesian rats, introduced by the settlers, may have eaten palm nuts and prevented forest regeneration. Climate change may have also played a role. As for how they moved the statues, experiments have shown the moai could have been walked to their destinations by rocking them from side to side with ropes. The purpose of the moai remains somewhat mysterious, though they likely represented important ancestors or chiefs whose presence provided spiritual protection. Each statue has unique features, suggesting they represented specific individuals. Some moai were fitted with coral eyes, giving them an even more lifelike appearance. In 1979, archaeologists made another astonishing discovery. The moai were just heads. Excavations revealed that many statues had complete bodies buried beneath the surface, sometimes extending 20 feet underground. Some had intricate carvings on their backs that had been protected from erosion by burial. Today, the Rapa Nui people continue to live on Easter Island, now a territory of Chile, and have experienced a cultural revival. They work actively in conservation and archaeological efforts, combating the simplified narrative that their ancestors destroyed themselves through resource mismanagement. The moai stand as testament to human creativity and determination in one of the world's most isolated places. How did a community of just a few thousand people, on an island with limited resources, create these enormous works? What drove them to invest so much energy in their creation? And what can we learn from their story about sustainability, cultural values, and the marks we choose to leave on our world? Could there be even more shocking archaeological discoveries waiting beneath the soil, under ocean waves, or hidden in remote jungles? What secrets of our human past remain undiscovered, ready to challenge everything we think we know?